Hello friends. All right, another day, another dollar. I just thrifted 2 items. I got a Shark cordless vac, the handheld one, because here, which is where I am right now at my daughter and son-in-law's house, they have one and it's so nice to clean up after the cats. I don't know why I just didn't get one. I wanted $20 for it. And they said it was pretty new. I'm like, will you take 10? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I went all the way to the place where the shelves I got yesterday. I don't think I even mentioned that I got that yesterday, but I got some shelves yesterday. I got 2 sets of shelves yesterday. And the second set of shelves, the ones that go over the toilet, which I had planned on just leaving in the garage for shelves. And then I thought, well, the whole bottom part's open. But I'll put buckets under there or something. I mean, they're kind of nice wood shelves. It seems like there's a little bit of rust at the bottom of it, so like maybe there was a leak in the bathroom. I'm just debating whether I just temporarily put them in one of the bathrooms just to make it look a little bit nicer. Of course, above all the, no, not above my, but I don't really need it in my bathroom unless I want them just to make it look nicer. Well, would that be the same thing for the guest bathroom, I guess? But I don't know what I'm gonna do. If I put them downstairs, I have shelves to hang downstairs already, so. Although I could put those shelves in the guest bathroom and then put this down there. I might just be carrying it all around my little townhome and figure out. So the other thing I got here, I'm trying to open it while I'm here, is this comforter. Now, I can't remember the name. Can't see it because it's on the white side. The other side, it has a little bit of a pattern and it's sort of a subtle mint. Watch, I got one that's just white. Isn't the wrong picture. There's got to be, yeah, see, can you see? All right, I don't know if you can see or not, but it's got a pattern on this side that's like a little bit mint green, which I figured would go, it's kind of country-ish, if you will, but also a little bit feminine. I was trying to decide if this is going to go in my bedroom or the guest bedroom. I don't know. But she had it listed for $80 and then brought it down to $70 and then dropped it to $40. So I wanted to get rid of it. And I said, will you do $25? Or will you do $30? I think I said, that's what I said. Will you do $30? And she's like, no, because of the brand. And I said, well, I'm not familiar with the brand. Here's the brand. All right. Serena and Lily is the brand. I don't know if you can see that either. But I did look up this Serena and Lily online and oh my gosh, their quilts are so expensive. So then I wrote back, all right, will you do $35? And she's like, fine. Can you tell the tone that I have with it? Fine. I have no idea if she really had that tone. All right, but I have groceries. Yes, a whole bag of groceries. I've got some meat in there because I'm making cube beef burgundy that I mentioned yesterday. Let me get my cup. I really don't need this on anymore. It's high as 66 today, but in the sun it feels like it's 80, so it's not necessary. But then I thought, oh, at my daughter's house, they always keep it cool because she's been so hot from being pregnant, and my son-in-law in general likes it. He runs hot. But I remember right before they got home, they're like, well, if you're leaving before we get back, which I did, they said, I had the keys hanging out here. Okay. They said, change the temperature to 70 degrees on both levels because they have a separate thermostat. It is really loud on the street, isn't it? They have some cars down there. They like to zoom up, and there's literally one more house away, there's a stop sign. And it's like, and then there's not one for a while. So it's like they like to rev up and go fast. And there are some cars that live down there that would drive me crazy. Okay, I unlocked it. Now we need to go in and turn off the alarm. Did you hear him accelerate? Literally, he is, and the stop sign. Oh, he just blew that stop sign. And there's a dead end down there. Those are just 2 cul-de-sacs. So it's somebody who lives here. These are nice homes. I'm telling you. I can't believe. Oh, I don't. Hi, Amaretto. Oh, you missed that. I didn't hit record. I just greeted Amaretto, who met me on the step here. When I flip the camera around, sometimes the record, when I hit it, must not. Well, there you are. I thought you'd go on your climber. Come here. Come here. Can I pet you some more? Yeah, thank you. She was over grooming. They don't know why. Her back end is still a little over groomed. But my daughter's philosophy is that it looks like it's a little raw and it probably irritates her, and that's why she's licking it. So she's thinking possibly she will do a short-term dose of steroids again to get her to stop the over grooming, just till it all heals, and then stop it, because the food, she was on. You gonna go on your climber? Okay, you go over there. You good girl. No, you're gonna sit by the Peloton bike? Okay. They tried this one particular food. They tried everything. They've changed their laundry detergent. They got rid of all air fresheners that make anything she could possibly be allergic to. They got all kinds of air purifiers. There's one right over there. Nothing was working. Finally, and it takes a while. It's not an instant thing. So, where's my train of thought? What's the whole point in all of this? No, well, anyway, she was on the rabbit food and doing really good. Really good. My daughter didn't realize. It was great that I would come and go every couple months so I could tell her. I'm like, oh no, she is making progress. I'm like, she looked like a little old lady because she was like all white. It was just like this white fuzz underneath the fur that was left. She had over-groomed everything on her side. The only thing that was orange was her head and neck because she can't lick it. Crazy. She just switched again to a different food, which is a prescription, but it was the same price as the rabbit. I got to call my friend Lynn because she was so upset when I told her that she was eating rabbit. She's eating rabbits? And I'm like, yeah, because it's the circle of life. I don't know. Like, it's the one thing that cats with lots of allergies to different foods are not allergic to. So I'm going to have to call her because they switched to this prescription one. She said it was the same price, and it's definitely still working, maybe even working a little bit better. And it was the same price. Oh, her poops don't smell so bad anymore. Apparently, if you eat a lot of rabbit, your poop smells. So no more smelly poop. Very good. All right, so got all the ingredients here. I got my soft bread that I was telling you about the other day. Look at this. Oh, these are so soft. Look, I ate half of it last night. After dinner, before bed, I thought, I do have a decent amount of stuff I have to do in bed. It wouldn't hurt. And I put a little bit of that garlic butter stuff that I had in the refrigerator on it, warmed it up in the microwave, and then ate it. Speaking of last night, my sleep score's not going to be good. Let's take a look. Because it was after midnight by the time I actually went to sleep. And I woke up at least twice. And then I was up, it says 8 hours. Well, 8 hours and 2 minutes. So I guess that makes sense by the time I fell asleep, because I got up at 8 somewhere around 8:30. I can't remember exactly if it was like 8:20, 8:40. I don't remember. It was 8 something. It says hi. Huh. Well, I can't have a good score for the time I went to bed. Not at all. But I'll take the high. It's 85. I bet that's the first number that's high. I bet, because I was 95 the other day and high. Were all the 80s high? No, I don't think so. I'm going to have to start writing this down. You guys probably remember I talk about my duration. I got a 50 out of 50 because I slept for 8 hours and 2 minutes. My bedtime, I got a 30 out of 30, even though I went to bed 13 minutes later than average. I don't understand that. I swear it was, maybe it wasn't midnight. Maybe it wasn't midnight. Maybe I got confused. That makes more sense, that I went to bed more like 11 something. But even so, 13 minutes, that's it? No, I went to bed a lot later than I think well, then average. My average has been increasing because I've been going to bed late. 12 wake-ups. I got a 5 out of 20. Oh gosh. 56 minutes total for an hour of being awake. All right, so that means it thought I went to bed. It's like almost like it knows I was in bed. Isn't that freaky? Because I was in bed, but I was working on my laptop. Because that would make sense that I had an hour of being awake. Because I don't remember being, but then when I got up in the morning, I just felt like I don't know what time it was. I don't know if it was, well, it could have been 7:30. That could be the hour. I just don't understand. I'm starting to think this is not that accurate. But I'm going to take it because it says I have a high sleep score. Better than some. I mean, it's told me I've had low ones. I was awake for an hour. I was in REM sleep for 2 hours. And my core and deep sleep together, if I add them together, was 6 hours. 6 hours of core and deep sleep. Now that is when your pulse slows down and your blood pressure slows down, you know, your heart rate slows down. So it knows when you're in core and deep sleep. So I got to trust that number. Okay. I'm taking it. Taking it. Happy, happy, happy. You're not going to believe what happened the other day. All right, so I got some pasta to put this beef burgundy on. They had at Publix, I was just going to get the Publix brand of Lipton onion soup mix, right? But they had, if you buy this and some other things in the brand, things I didn't really need, if you got $10 worth, then you got $5 off, or so I thought. Okay, so these were like $2, a little over $2 and a couple, $2.05 or something weird like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get 5 of them because they don't go bad. I can keep them in my pantry. I can take some back home. I can leave some here in the pantry, not here, but leave some. Well, I could leave one with my daughter if she wants it. And so I went to the register, I was checking out, and I'm not seeing it pop up at the end. At Publix, you put your phone number in as opposed to like a card, which is nice. Because I use my phone number almost anywhere anyway, because I don't have the little key fob things with me. All right. My daughter said she's gonna be home in 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, that's specific. So my guess is she's gonna be home between 6 and 7 minutes. All right, so let me finish up the story. So I'm checking out. I scan them. I'm not seeing it there. And there's a lady who's kind of sweeping around the area. I said, I'm sorry, can you help me? I said, she's like, did you put your phone number? I said, yeah. And it was a coupon, a clipped coupon. And I went into the app when I was in the aisle and I clipped the coupon, which I've never done before. So I thought maybe I did screw this up. It's possible. So and I said, did I clip the coupon wrong? It said it was clipped afterwards. She's like, no, that's all you need to do. And if you put your phone number in, it should have popped up. And she goes, sometimes it doesn't work right and all that. What was it? And I said, it was $5 off. She's like, I'll just put it in. And I said, okay. So she put it in. So then I was scanning like 2 more things. I'm getting ready to pay. And then all of a sudden I see the Lipton clipless coupon. It was $3, not $5. So I called her over and I said, I'm so sorry. It's right here. She goes, oh, it was 3, not 5. I go, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Can you adjust? Can you just take off the $5 now? And she goes, no. She goes, just enjoy it. She's like, you'll make up for it on another shop. I go, I will. Next time I come, I'll make up for it. They'll get their money back here because this is right by my house. But I was laughing and I'm like, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, thanks for letting me know. But she's like, it's better to have the customers happy than frustrated, right? And she goes, and we'd all get frustrated if I had to figure out how to take that off. So I'm like, okay. So I got $8 off. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So $10 with $8 off. So for $2, so I got buy 1, get 4 free. Gotta love it. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I was not trying to scam the system. And I tried to make it right afterwards, but I understand her logic and I appreciate it and I agree with it. I'm not going to do it again. Just saying. I got all these cans. I called my mom about, I don't know, 40 minutes ago. She's not home. My parents are always home. They go nowhere at all, unless it's a doctor's visit. That's it. And she has to go to the grocery store to get groceries. Those are the two places she goes. Well, apparently one of those is happening right when I need to get a hold of her. So I want to know this recipe because I'm starting to question whether how many, is that real simple dump it all in recipe? I don't remember exactly how long to cook it. Now I'm thinking you cook it at 400 for 3 hours or 3.5 hours as opposed to cooking it for 4 hours. And then I don't know if it's 2 golden mushroom soups and 2 cans of this and that, because I know I always do 2, but is 2 the recipe and it calls for 1? Because I always double it because I make it when a bunch of people are coming over. That's what I don't know. And I think I only needed 1 pound of meat. I got 2 pounds of meat. So maybe I just make a double batch. That's what we do here. I think that's what we're going to do. Because I have 2 cans of mushrooms. I have 2 cans of golden mushroom soup. I have 2 cans of cream and mushroom soup. I have over 2 pounds of the meat that I'm going to cube into smaller little cubes too. And I definitely have enough lasagna soup mix to use 2 packages. I think there's 2 packages in a box, right? So it's 1 box. That makes life easy, I think. And then you just dump it all in and you stick it in the oven and cook it. You don't brown the meat. I could take it, the cubed beef stew cubes and just dump them the way they are. But I like them a little bit smaller because then I feel like you get like a bite of meat in every bite. That's just the way I like it, as opposed to the big chunks of meat. Okay, this was the meal my daughter requested. Simple, right? You're welcome. Make it at home. I'll let you know exactly. Well, maybe not. I mean, how many hours can my mom be at the doctor's office, really? She's got to be calling me back soon. Maybe I'll call her again. I'll get off of this and call her. Okay, so this is my day. I thrifted 2 things. I did some stuff online that I'm trying to take care of before that. And now I'm here. So I'm going to be here for multiple hours and then going home tonight, almost dark, around 7 o'clock tonight. And I'm going to pick up a sign that says Nashville. We'll talk about it in a thrifting video. Very excited. Words of wisdom, put your family first. My house, a disaster. The sink, full of dishes. My sink is never full of dishes. Why is it full of dishes? Because my dishwasher needs to be emptied. Projects started all over, not completed. I did not get the shower curtain in. I have not gone to Gallatin Public Utilities and gotten my trash can and signed up for the trash removal yet. The things I kept saying, like, every day, I have to do this today. I have to do this today. Okay, well, not happening. But possibly when I get home, I can still hang the shower curtain rod. We'll see how it goes. I might just clean up around the place before I go to bed. But we'll see. But it doesn't matter. Dropping everything, coming over, spending 4 to 6 hours over here with my daughter and my son-in-law and my grandson. Okay, I hear the garage door opening. Those are your words of wisdom. If I don't get a chance to do any other updates, take care and see you next time, friends. Thanks for watching. Bye. I'm back. Hi, friends. All right, update. I am here alone. My daughter and my son-in-law and my grandson all got home. And my daughter said the doctor was concerned because he lost 12% of his body weight and they want to see him lose less than 10%. Coupled with the fact he hasn't had a bowel movement on his own. Apparently right after he was born, there was an explosion of all explosions. Like the minute they lifted him up and they gave him to her, she's like putting him on her chest. It was a hot mess for everybody to help clean up. So he cleaned himself out significantly right out of the gate. And then of course, you know, my daughter's milk didn't come in until last evening. So she's just been trying to continue to get him to try. He actually seems fairly content. Like, she said he had a rougher night last night, but then he's also kind of getting out of that groggy state. And maybe he is getting a little bit hungry, although, like she said, her milk is coming in now. So anyway, the doctor was concerned. And then there was like she thought he may have looked a little jaundiced. And there was one other thing. When you put all these things together, it could indicate something like a possible lower back nerve thing. I can't remember. It was all a blur when they were explaining it to me. And then while I was cooking dinner, the doctor did call. And I think the jaundice results came back fine, because I don't remember him saying anything like that. And I said, he's like, oh, she wants us to go to Vanderbilt University's children's emergency section. And I was like, okay. And I said, really? Because she said she was going to give him some time to poop, but you guys just got home. Because that's what I told her. Like, we've been home for an hour. And he's been asleep. There hasn't been a whole lot of opportunity to have a bowel movement. So, like, I don't know about maybe waiting a little bit longer. And I said, well, and then now he just ate, and they did supplement. They gave him they got some organic baby formula. And they gave him that, a little bit of that after he nursed. And he just passed out like he was happy and drunk on milk. And so he seemed really content and all that, but the doctor was concerned. And of course, my daughter wants to follow the doctor's recommendation. So I'm here alone right now. There was still 2 hours left to cook on the beef burgundy, which is not beef burgundy. Okay, I told you that, right? Did I tell you that? I went to get the burgundy and realized, I don't know who I told the story to. Maybe I just told my daughter. I went to get the burgundy the other day when I got all the food last night. Publix doesn't sell it. So I remembered Walmart sold it. And at Christmas time, they had this regular bottle, and then they had like a gallon bottle, which wasn't that much more. And I'm like, listen, every time my kids come home and I say, what do you want me to cook? They always say beef burgundy. So I'm just going to get this big old thing. In fact, a girlfriend of mine, her husband passed away, and she was saying, I have all this meat in the freezer. I don't know what to do with all that meat. He used to cook up this meat and eat all this meat all the time. And she's like, I'm not as big of a meat person, but mostly because I don't know how to prepare it or cook it. And I said, is it like you can cut it up into cubes and it can be beef? And she's like, yeah. And I said, I have a recipe for you. And then she was actually my Bible study. So next time Bible study, I brought her an entire thermos. We have all these extra thermoses at our house we don't need. Don't ask. And so I gave her, I'm like, keep the thermos or throw it away. I don't care. Donate it. Here is multiple cups of burgundy from that. And I still have a lot in that gallon jug because I just haven't made it that much because I need to just make it for myself because it's good stuff. I just haven't done it. Okay. So I went to Walmart here. There's one not too far from their house. And just to get the burgundy. I found the big gallon thing, but I'm not going to get that. They don't have the small bottle. Of course they don't. They do not have the small bottle. So I had to buy the gallon. I'm like, I don't feel like driving around town and finding a liquor store or whatever that might have the burgundy in a smaller bottle. Usually it comes in the grocery store in like a mid-size bottle. So it still looks like a bottle, but it's the ones that are really wide. That's how burgundy normally comes. Not like in a normal sized wine bottle. In fact, this size, let me show you. This is what it normally comes in. This size of a bottle. Now, I wasn't going to buy a gallon of it. I just wasn't going to do it. So when I was at Publix the other day, I looked, and I've made the recipe with any kind of white wine. I had Merlot at home left over. I use Merlot. Like, I've used other red wines before, but I wanted to know what is going to be the closest to Burgundy. And they said Pinot Noir, specifically from Oregon and Australia. This is from California. I figured it's close enough to Oregon. They're right next door to each other. How different can the vineyards be? So we went with Pinot Noir. So this is beef Pinot Noir is what we're making. Not beef Burgundy. Although it smells the same. It really does smell good. So yeah, Pinot Noir it is. And look how much is still left. And this was a double batch I made. This is 2 cups. So I told my son-in-law I will come back in a few days or next week or whenever and make this beef pot pie that I made last time. I found this recipe online because I made the beef Burgundy for my daughter and my son-in-law. I had so much leftover beef because I bought the beef cubes from Costco. Don't do that. Unless you're planning on feeding a literal army, they give you a lot of beef in there. I'm like, I need to make another big double batch of something. So I looked online. I'm like, a beef pot pie would be good with this. And I found a beef pot pie that used some wine to make it too. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back and I'm going to make that on another day. So I am convinced little Callahan is fine. And I'm convinced the doctor is being overprotective, and my daughter is just following doctor's rules, which is a good thing. And I told them, I said, listen, it's better to be, I guess, overcautious than to brush something off. It's not significant. Whatever this one thing is that they wanted to test for to see if he had is the kind of thing that if you catch it really early, it's good. So based on that information, my daughter's like, I'm just going to go in. She's like, we've hit our deductible for the year. I said, you go. All right. So that's where they are. They've been triaged. They're just waiting for a room now, and it's going to be all night. So I'm going to get this out of the oven here shortly and then feed Amaretto her dinner and then text them and let them know I'm heading back to my townhome in Gallatin. And I made some garlic bread. I took some of that delicious soft bread and I got some garlic powder and butter and put it on it and then wrapped it up and stuck it in a plastic bag for them. I said, you can just throw this in your broiler and leave the box of noodles and the Burgundy. And I have a container where I am taking some home with me. Yes, I am. Tonight's dinner that I was going to eat here, and then maybe 2 more servings because it makes a lot. And I made a double batch. And I had already told her that ahead of time. I'm like, by the way, I'm making a double batch, so I'm going to take a little bit home with me. But I'll leave the rest of all the extras for you so you can warm it up throughout the week. Yeah, so that's where we are right now. Poor little Callahan. It's reminiscent of this daughter, actually. She's my first. And after she was born, she wasn't pooping either. But I feel like there was something else going on. No, I think it was just she wasn't pooping. And I was concerned by it. And I called the pediatrician's office. And they said, can you take her temperature? I'm like, oh, that's the one thing I didn't think of. But she was being fussy. I said, she's being really fussy. She doesn't really want to nurse. She hasn't pooped in like 3 days. And I had just gotten home from the hospital like 3 days before or 2 days before, whatever. And he's like, okay. So I was talking to the pediatrician on the phone, who I had never met in person at this point. And he said, can you, have you taken her temperature? I'm like, no, I didn't even think about taking her temperature. He's like, okay, do you have a rectal thermometer? I said, I do. And he's like, okay, go, just stay on the line and take your time, get the rectal thermometer and take her temperature. And it was like, I don't know, 100.4 or something like that. It was something that was not good. And I remember him being very gentle on the phone and saying, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. I don't want you, do you have somebody there with you? I said, actually, yeah. Ironically, my mom was with me that day, just like I'm with her. But my husband wasn't there. He was at work. And he said, okay, good. So you have somebody who can drive. I don't want you to rush or go through any lights or anything, but go to the hospital at St. John West Shore. He's like giving me all these, and to the emergency room, and I'm going to call there ahead of time and let them know you're on your way. And I'll be like, emergency room? She was in They thought she had meningitis. She had a spinal tap. We were in the hospital for a week. So that wasn't good. And she knows that story and that too. She goes, well, at least I'm happy that he's not sick. And I'm like, that's right. And I just want to rule things out. So that's all we're doing is ruling things out. In the end, she ended up being fine too. She got over that and moved on. Somebody came to visit me in the hospital with their child who was sick. And the child sneezed on her. Yeah. I mean, what can you do? After it was over, she's like, oh, move over here, get out of the way. You shouldn't be doing that on the baby. And I'm like, and I think she was sick. And we were discharged. It was like the next day, I want to say, when I came back, maybe 2. But we were discharged. When we were discharged, the nurse was doing the checkout, you know, taking the vital signs and all that. And she's like, oh, her temperature's a little elevated. And I said, it is? And she's like, yeah. She goes, she's been swaddled. She's asleep and she's been swaddled here. So that's probably the reason for it. It's no concern. And they discharged her. Should have stayed at the hospital and never gone home. But it worked out fine. She was okay in the end. So that was an experience now that I think about it. Yeah, I stayed in the room with her. So I am anticipating this going very different because he doesn't have a temperature. We're hoping all is well and he gets a clean bill of health. And then, so I'm going to text her and say, listen, by the time you get home, which is going to be a long time. She's like, oh, they're calling ahead of time, so we should be able to get in right away. I'm like, oh, you have no idea. No idea. It's the same thing when my son had an accident, you know, using with electric clippers on a ladder. Doesn't work out really well, especially if you're not a landscaper, and he's not. He's a computer kid. What he was doing on a ladder with electric clippers, don't know. I was not supervising. My husband was there at my parents' house helping with yard work, which is wonderful. I thought that was a great idea. Anyway, they called ahead of time too to get him because he had to go to the level 1 trauma center because it ended up chipping a bone. Ended up being fine. He has all his fingers and everything is fine. He just has a radical scar on one finger. But he had like a cast that went all the way down his arm and everything. And they had to go because you chipped the bone. There's the likelihood of an infection, you know, getting systemically in your system. So that's why they had to get transferred to downtown to a level 1 trauma center to be taken care of. And I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours. They were there. They waited, I think, 2 hours just in the waiting room. I don't know. When they eventually were taken back, they're like, finally, the guy's like, I've been waiting for you for forever. I don't know why you guys haven't come back here. And they're like, we've been waiting. And he's like, well, I've seen your name on the list. He goes, I guess they just didn't have a room. So hopefully little Callahan gets a room quicker than that, but it might be a long night for them. So I'm just going to say, rest your minds. I'm transferred your beef burgundy into other containers that you can reheat. There's the box of noodles you can make at your leisure. There's the bread and butters ready to go. Just put it in the broiler and eat it tonight, eat it tomorrow. Just relax and don't worry about it. And don't worry about me or worrying about having to get back here. So that's the plan. That was a lot of rambling. I expected this to be like 2 minutes long. This is my life. I like to talk. Okay. Thanks for being here. And I hopefully will have better news tomorrow on my update on little baby Callahan. I will share with you that after they left and I had a couple hours free, my plan was originally to drive to Gallatin, get my laptop, and then come back here. And then I thought, and then the traffic was really bad on this one road heading out of here, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, I'm just going to turn around. I'm going to go get that sign. I got a sign that says Nashville. I'll show you in a thrifting video, but I've been looking for a sign that says Nashville that was a substantial size that I could hang in my townhome. Partially for myself, because I'm in Nashville, and when friends and family all use it, they'll be like, we're in Nashville, because we're really in Gallatin, which is like 40 minutes from Nashville. So I wanted to have that Nashville feel to it. That's why I'm trying to incorporate more natural wood stuff and all that to just kind of make it feel a little more country. And then I found this sign and it was perfect. And I went to pick it up because it was in Germantown, which was like 30 minutes the opposite direction of Gallatin. My plan was after dinner, I told her I was going to go get it at like 7 o'clock from her place because she's moving places, but they're nearby each other. And then from there, I was going to head back, get on the freeway to head back to Gallatin. But I called an audible and I just did a U-E and thought, I'm not sitting in this traffic on this single lane road trying to get out of here with everybody else in rush hour while they're doing some sort of construction thing. No, not doing it. So I got the sign. So it's in the back of my car. And yeah, I'm all caught up on my thrifting. I have one little nightstand that I'm going to pick up this weekend that I'm going to put inside the closet of the guest bedroom. So there's a place, because I don't want to put a dresser in there. It's not that big a room. So now there's something with 3 drawers that they can put socks and underpants and whatever inside the little dresser thing. Yeah, and then it'll be in the closet and it'll be out of the way. Okay. I'm now rambling. All right, we are caught up. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.